Picture this for a second. It's the dead of night in the Hundred Acre Wood. Everything is completely silent, pitch black, and Winnie the Pooh is fast asleep. Then, out of absolutely nowhere, this bizarre wor-raw noise completely shatters the quiet and jolts him wide awake.
So what does he do? Pooh scrambles out of bed, lights his little candle, and stumps his way right across the room. He goes straight to his honey cabinet to make sure no one is trying to sneak a midnight snack. But nobody's there. He blows out the candle, climbs back into bed, and wouldn't you know it, that exact same strange noise echoes out again.
Now, Pooh is lying there in the dark, really trying to logic this out. You know, there are plenty of noises in the forest, but this one is just different. It definitely isn't a growl. It's not a purr. It's not a bark, and it's certainly not that throat-clearing sound you make right before reciting a poem. No, this is a completely unfamiliar animal, and it sounds like it's right outside his front door. So he decides he has to go see for himself. He opens the door, and there, in the flickering candlelight, Pooh locks eyes with this totally new creature. It's sleek, it's covered in stripes, and it's full of energy. They introduce themselves. I'm Pooh. I'm Tigger. And Tigger cheerfully announces that, well, Tigger's just like everything. Hearing that, Pooh suggests they simply wait and share some honey for breakfast the next morning, and they both head off to sleep.
Fast forward to the very next morning. Tigger is sitting right in front of Pooh's mirror, staring intently at his reflection. Suddenly, he excitedly blurts out that he's found somebody who looks exactly like him. Up until that moment, he honestly thought he was the only Tigger in the whole world. Pooh is just about to explain the concept of a mirror to him, but Tigger's attention completely snaps to something else. With a loud yell, Tigger suddenly lunges straight at the edge of the tablecloth. He yanks it down to the floor, somehow manages to wrap himself up in it 3 whole times, and literally rolls all the way across the room. After this massive, flailing struggle, he finally pops his head out and firmly insists that the tablecloth had actually tried to bite him when he wasn't looking. Eventually, they do manage to sit down for breakfast. Tigger dives right in and takes this massive mouthful of honey. But then, he pauses, he tilts his head to the side, looks straight up at the ceiling, and starts rolling his tongue around. He's making all these thoughtful, exploring noises, really trying to figure out what exactly it is he just put in his mouth. After a moment of careful consideration, Tigger confidently announces his verdict. Tiggers do not like honey. Pooh puts on a sad face, but let's be real, he is secretly thrilled to have all that honey to himself. Since honey is a no-go, they decide to pack up and head over to Piglet's house to see if maybe he has some acorns for Tigger instead. So they make their way to Piglet's, and the entire walk there, Tigger is just uncontrollably bouncing out from behind trees, showing off these massive jumps. By the time they arrive, little Piglet is visibly nervous. He's carefully edging his way around the table, staring at this huge striped animal, and timidly points out that he kind of thought Tiggers were, well, smaller than that. Piglet nervously slides a bowl of acorns over. Tigger doesn't hesitate. He instantly crams his mouth entirely full of them. What follows is just this really long, loud, munching noise. Nobody says a word. Then, all of a sudden, Tigger lets out a yell and bolts straight out the front door. When he finally steps back inside, his stance has slightly changed. He firmly declares that, okay, he still likes everything, except honey and acorns. Piglet breathes a pretty big sigh of relief at that, and he helpfully suggests that maybe what Tigger really wants is some nice, crunchy thistles.
With a brand new plan in mind, the trio sets off again. Pooh, Piglet, and Tigger just walk and walk, deep into the forest, until they finally track down Eeyore in his usual spot.
Eeyore takes his time assessing the situation. He slowly walks one full circle clockwise around Tigger, and then does another full circle counterclockwise, just looking him up and down. When he hears Tigger still hasn't had breakfast, Eeyore leads them over to a specific little patch of thistles. He gloomily mentions that he was actually saving these as a special treat for his own birthday, but he invites Tigger to go ahead and have them.
Tigger leans right in, totally ready to feast. But right before he takes a bite, he freezes. He leans over to Pooh and anxiously whispers to double-check if these prickly things are actually thistles. Pooh says yes, so Tigger throws caution to the wind, takes a giant bite, and you just hear this incredibly loud crunch. Instantly, Tigger drops to the ground, shoving his paw right into his mouth. He mumbles a frantic, hot, hot, and to get away from the sharp prickles, he just starts sprinting in wild circles with his tongue hanging all the way out of his head. So it's safe to say,
Tiggers do not like thistles either.
While Tigger is busy running his frantic laps, Pooh quietly sits to the side and starts composing a little poem about him. He's softly mumbling lines about Tigger's weight in pounds, shillings, and ounces. Piglet, who is always very literal, leans in to correctly point out that shillings are actually money, so they really don't belong in a poem about measuring weight.
Okay, so thistles are officially off the menu too. Next stop on the breakfast tour, Kanga's house. As soon as they walk in, Tigger looks very self-important as he starts sticking his nose and his paws into literally every single jar and container in Kanga's cupboard. He inspects the whole lot, but still, absolutely nothing looks good to him.
Having ransacked the entire cupboard to no avail, Tigger just looks around and asks, well, what happens now? Right as he says that, he spots little Roo. Roo is dragging his feet, looking completely miserable, and loudly complaining about having to eat his scrambled eggs. Tigger stares at this completely fascinated.
Moving incredibly fast, Tigger leans right over the back of Roo's chair. He darts his tongue out, and in one huge, sudden motion, he swallows Roo's entire plate of scrambled eggs. Boom, gone. Kanga doesn't even have time to pull the spoon away. The reaction is instant. This incredibly peaceful, highly satisfied smile just washes over Tigger's face. He closes his eyes and starts happily licking his chops, making absolutely sure he didn't miss a single drop. After all that searching, he finally hit the jackpot.
And from that day forward, the egg obsession was real. Tigger officially moved into Kanga's house permanently so he could have scrambled eggs for breakfast, dinner, and tea every single day, happily living as a great friend to everyone in the forest. So Tigger successfully tracked down his absolute perfect breakfast. But now that he's fully fueled up and bouncing around the 100 Acre Wood, what in the world is he going to bounce on next?